Good afternoon, Joey Only, the Caribou Weather Dude here. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing the Winnipeg Jets hat, that's my way of thanking Joe Stover for being a good sport on the meteorological report this week. Okay, I said a storm was coming to Western Canada. Let's get right to it. The first warnings have come for British Columbia. That's a snowfall warning for the Central Coast. So that gives you an idea of things to come. That's late tonight into Sunday morning with 10 centimeters, rapidly accumulating snow, slippery road conditions, reduced visibility and heavy snow and strong winds. A slow-moving low west of Haida-Gwaii will send bands of precipitation to the area tonight. Wet snow will mix with rain in the evening, then snow will become heavier in the evening as a cold air mass moves into the area. Snowfall accumulations will be quite variable, but are expected to be highest in bands of heavier snow as well as over inland areas and higher terrain. Conditions will improve later Sunday. Wet snow is expected in Haida-Gwaii this weekend, possibly 10 to 20 centimeters. The slow-moving low west of Haida-Gwaii will send bands of precipitation to the area through the weekend. A cold air mass in place, wet snow mixed with rain can be expected. Snowfall accumulations will be variable, but are expected to be highest in bands of heavier snow like we just read before. This gives us a definite idea of what's going to happen in British Columbia. Already that storm's been kind of wrapping around from the south, sitting there, the low off the coast of BC and Washington State for most of the last number of days, sending its wrap along counterclockwise, slamming the California coast area in California, where there's been just a remarkable amount of snow lately. Now it made its way into southern Alberta, where it gave Brandon Houck a real good storm show last night, as you can see.
All right, Brandon Houck here. Yes, it is still snowing. We're now at 8 centimeters of snow on the ground right now, and the storm continues to move through the southern prairies. We are fairly lucky we don't have the wind to contend with here, that is for sure. However, areas around Medicine Hat, so much snow that semi-trucks are having trouble getting up the hill as you get into Medicine Hat, just over the South Saskatchewan River there. So if you're traveling eastbound, expect major delays. The other thing is, yes, highways around our area all partly covered in snow at this time, so things have gotten really greasy out there. So probably best to leave the traveling till tomorrow, at least, if you do have to go anywhere tonight. So we will continue to monitor the snowy situation through the night tonight here in Brooks and the County of Neil. So far right now, we're at 8 centimeters of snow.
And now it's made its way into Saskatchewan and Manitoba. So there's blizzard warnings in Brandon, Neepawa, Killarney, Pilot Mountain, Manitou, Melita, Boissevain, Turtle Mountain Provincial Park, Verdun, Souris, and snowfall warnings for almost everywhere else along the southern edge. Basically all southern Manitoba. So the snowfall warning in southwestern Manitoba was upgraded blizzard warning, 10 to 15 centimeters of driven snow by northeast winds, gusting to 60-70, giving poor visibility this afternoon. Travel is expected to be hazardous. If you do travel and become lost, remain where you are until blizzard has passed. Protect yourself from wind, cold, and disorientation by staying sheltered indoors or with your vehicle. If you become stranded in a vehicle, do not leave. The vehicle offers a form of protection from the cold. A single person walking through the snow is harder to find than a stranded car or truck. Those are dire warnings. And similar things are being said in Saskatchewan. At 10:55 a.m., blizzard conditions were reported still, with Estevan reporting zero visibility and snow and blowing snow and easterly winds gusting as high as 80 kilometers an hour. Numerous road closures have been reported in the area. The blizzard will likely persist for most of the afternoon, with slight improvements expected later today as winds diminish somewhat. Make sure you have an emergency kit in your vehicle with water, food, medicine, first aid kit, flashlight, blankets, things like that. Ensure that all your pets are sheltered. Your outdoor animals are going to be safe. 10 centimeters of snow possible through northern Ontario because of this. Then all the way on the other side of the country, just the very first warnings of what's going to happen out east, what Frankie McDonald is calling the White Fiona. Special weather statements already issued for Newfoundland, 5 to 10 centimeters additional. Coastal areas will see mixing of rain and snow this afternoon. It won't be till Tuesday, I think, that the big storm that Frankie's predicting begins to really make its way felt in Eastern Canada. Over to Avalanche Canada today, Kennebec, Gizmo, and Polar Vortex are saying today, atmospheric river en route. An offshore low drops down to Haida-Gwaii, placing its roots down and becoming stationary for the weekend. Onshore flow will begin this morning, resulting in flurries over the south coast ranges. Hot spots will be over western-facing slopes of the insular ranges and sea to sky Sunday night into Monday is when the interior gets concerning. The coastal low will steer subtropical air towards British Columbia interior, resulting in very high precipitation and strong winds until likely Tuesday afternoon, evening. Along south coast, anticipate little no breaks between the persistent onshore flow and the subtropical push Sunday evening night. The atmospheric push will bring very high precipitation and rising freezing levels, so mixed precipitation in the form of rain or snow can be expected along higher terrain for the end of the weekend into early next week. This feature will produce a moist southwesterly flow over Vancouver Island and the southern coast mountains this weekend. Further inland, isolated scattered flurries for parts of the interior with a weak upper ridge blocking the heavier bands of coastal precipitation from invading. A trough line of the Pacific lows west develop and begin to dig southwards into Sunday. This will cause the subtropical air mass previously invading California with heavy precipitation and convection to reorient its path. Therefore, a moisture plume with higher thickness, 540 dm on the blue dash line representing warmer air, will crash into the south coast Sunday afternoon, evening through Washington State, then the interior Sunday night, Monday morning. Looking into early next week as the trough line across the BC coast continues to usher in subtropical air, precipitation will stretch from the U.S. border up to the North Rockies before easing Tuesday afternoon over the interior. The south coast, however, should get hit with another system originating from the Gulf of Alaska Tuesday. Today on the BC coast, the onslaught of Pacific moisture, moderate to heavy flurries will begin this morning, persist over the weekend. Flurries will be distributed over various areas with southwestern-facing slopes closer to the ocean receiving the heavier amounts. By the end of the day, snowfall accumulation will be 5 to 10 centimeters locally, 15 centimeters. South coast inland could see trace up to 5 centimeters this afternoon, and it's furthest away from the low. Freezing levels will remain below elevations of interest. Moderate southerly ridge-top winds of 40 kilometers an hour over the insular ranges and 30 kilometers an hour over the north shore to sea to sky ranges. The northern coast mountains will only see trace amounts of snow today, 20 to 40 kilometers an hour east of the alpine winds over the northwest coastal ranges with outflow through the mainland inlets and valleys, slightly stronger due to channeling. The interior today, unsettled conditions are expected with a chance of flurries across all interior ranges. It's happening right now in Wells and has been happening all day. Higher probability of flurries near Kootenay Pass along Selkirk ranges, 2 to 4 centimeters by end of day. Freezing levels near Valley Bottom this morning. Ridgetop winds are generally light southwesterly except for strong and persistent easterly winds continuing to blow through the Pine Pass, resulting in light snowfalls east of the pass. Alpine temperatures will hover between minus 15 and minus 20 across the North Rockies and minus 10 to minus 15 further south. On Sunday on the BC coast, an offshore area of low pressure continues to produce the moist southwesterly flow. South to all coast mountains south of Terrace, the insular ranges and mountains southwest of Squamish should bear the brunt of snowfall with freezing levels idling between 500 to 700 meters. Current forecast guidance suggests the potential for 2 to 8 centimeters locally, 10 over the sea to sky, with insular ranges expecting 5 to 10 centimeters up to 15 centimeters by Sunday afternoon along northwest sections if a prolonged line of flurries occurs over the same area. Strong southerly winds, ridgetop winds 30 to 50 kilometers an hour over the insular ranges and moderate southerlies over the north shores. The northwest coastal ranges could see few centimeters of snowfall Sunday, 20 to 40 kilometer an hour east of the alpine winds, easing in the afternoon with outflow through mainland inlets and valleys, slightly stronger due to channeling effect. On Sunday, the BC interior, weak upper ridging will not hold back isolated flurries from continuing. Over the North Rockies, periods of light snow will continue with alpine winds switching to light southeasterly in the morning. Between trace and 2 centimeters forecasted for the end of the day there. Further south, partly cloudy conditions with isolated heavier precipitation from the coast continues its march toward the interior. Flurries from the Caribou Range down to the U.S. could spill a trace of 2 centimeters of snowfall by end of the day, primarily over the northern Monashees and Selkirks. Light alpine winds expected for moderate southerlies up to 30 kilometers an hour over the Caribou Mountains. Alpine temperatures will hover near minus 10. On Monday, heavy precipitation over the island will temporarily subside Monday afternoon evening as the upper trough moves further inland. However, moderate to heavy precipitation will continue over the mainland south coasts before easing Monday night into Tuesday morning. Freezing levels should rise 1,500 meters by the afternoon. Strong southwesterly winds funneling through the Fraser Valley and likely reaching extreme thresholds in the morning for associated ranges. On Tuesday, another coastal low will slide toward the island, bringing snow at times heavy to the south coast ranges, with freezing levels falling below our lowest elevation of interest Tuesday morning and rising 800 meters by the afternoon. The onslaught of snow will persist until Wednesday morning. Moderate, strong southwesterly winds should also impact the insular ranges. On the BC interior Monday, expect a little change from Sunday night with precipitation crashing over the interior. Strong southerly winds will look to develop Monday morning from the Monashees east to the Lizard Ranges. Early indications suggest freezing levels reach 1,500 meters, maybe 2,000 meters Monday afternoon for the Monashee, Selkirk, and Purcell ranges. Confidence is medium high. Due to the high precipitable water in the atmosphere, precipitation from this event will be high and should bear monitoring as we progress closer to the event. On Tuesday, heavy precipitation associated with the back edge of Lee cyclogenesis, fancy way of saying surface low forming over Alberta, will result in continued heavy precipitation for areas south of the Caribou Mountains down to the U.S. border. By evening period, the coastal low will push our moisture plume out of the Caribou Mountains and primarily over the Alberta-BC border. So more on all that to come on this channel. That's the news for today. It's coming, and it's happening in the prairies. Okay, everybody, take care, stay safe out there. Please hit like, please share the videos, please tell a friend. I'm really trying to grow a channel here that matters. And I'm doing it because what else would I be doing on a day like today anyway? Ugh.